Handling data, comparing two bar charts. What is it? A way of sorting data according to different features. Why? To get a different perspective on the data. Interesting fact, sharks do not have a single bone in their bodies. The skeleton is made up of cartilage, the same tissue that makes up human ears and noses. So if you follow these steps, you'll be golden. Step 1, draw the same key information. Step 2, compare the first graph to the second graph. And you must have numbers for both graphs in your sentence. So here we have the two charts or two graphs. On the left, you have ice cream sold in week 1, and on the right, you have ice cream sold in week 2. Now, what are we going to do? Compare the two charts. How do we do? So what does it mean to compare? It means to compare the same items. So how do we do that? If it doesn't specifically state in the question that you're being asked, you get to choose. So you get to pick whatever ice cream that you like. I'm going to go ahead and choose coffee for this one. So if you pick coffee for the left, you have to pick coffee for the right. Now, if it asks for two flavors and it doesn't specify, you can choose which two flavors you like. So I'm going to pick mint and coconut for week 1. Then I need to pick mint and coconut for week 2. And finally, you always have the total for each week. Now let's go ahead and talk about how to do it. So the first step is to write down the value of each section so that it's easier to visualize and write down the sentences. So let's go ahead and talk about coffee to coffee. So now we're going to draw even more key information, which is the flavors that were sold that we're going to talk about. So in that one, week 1, 10 coffee flavored ice cream was sold in week 1 and 9 in week 2. So now we're going to go ahead and write down the sentence for it. So here it is. So in week 1, coffee flavored ice cream was sold 10 times compared to 9 in week 2. So if you don't like to use compared and you want to use more than or less than or same as, go for it. Or something similar. They're all okay to use. So let's do a different sentence. So in week 1, coffee flavored ice cream was sold 10 times, which is one more than week 2. That is also acceptable, and those are your answers for this particular example. So let's move on and let's talk about mint and coconut. To mint and coconut. Now we're going to draw the same information for week 1 and week 2. Now we have to add them together, and we get 16 for week 1, 13 for week 2. And then now let's go ahead and write the first sentence. We have in week 1, mint and coconut flavored ice cream sold 16 times compared to 13 in week 2. Or if you don't like that, you can write in week 2, mint and coconut flavored ice cream sold 13 times, which is 3 less than week 1. And those are your answers. So let's take a look at the total now. So right there, you got to go ahead and write down the total for week 1. Add them up, you get 39. And same thing for week 2. And as you can see, we have 39 as well. So in this one, we're going to use same as. So in week 1, 39 ice cream flavors were sold, which is the same as week 2. And there you have it. Okay, so now it is your turn. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video so you can take the time answering these questions before I show you the answers. In 3, 2, and 1. Here are the answers. Okay, if you got them correct, well done. If you didn't, that is okay. There's always tomorrow. Also, sometimes you may have got it still correct. Remember, there are different variants for these sentences.